Some memories don't fade, they burn themselves into you. Kelsey was 12 when her sister Olivia pressed a hot curling iron into her back. It wasn't an accident, it wasn't a joke. It was punishment for touching Olivia's lipstick without asking. She remembered every second of it. The curling iron had been heating on the bathroom counter, steam rising slowly like the breath of something sinister. Olivia didn't scream, she didn't shout. She simply walked up behind her sister, grabbed a fistful of her t-shirt, yanked it down, and pushed the iron into her bare skin. The hiss, the smell, the pain. Kelsey's body jolted so hard she fell against the tub. Her scream wasn't human. It tore from her chest like it had claws. But the house didn't stop. The TV kept playing in the living room. Her mother didn't come running. When the neighbors called the police, Kelsey's hope lit up for a moment. Maybe this time someone would listen. The officers knocked. Her mom opened the door, cool as ice, a cigarette in one hand, and a fake smile on her lips. "Sorry, officers, my daughter just had a little tantrum. Didn't like that she couldn't go to the mall." Kelsey stood behind her, clutching her arm, face pale and sweating. "You need to calm down, young lady," one officer said. "Respect your mother." And just like that, they were gone. No one asked to see the burn. No one asked if she was okay. That night, Kelsey lay on her side in her bed, trying not to cry, afraid even her tears would make her a target. Olivia was across the room, filing her nails, humming. "Don't be so dramatic," Olivia said without looking up. "It's not like it left a scar." But it did. A lightning bolt-shaped burn right beneath her shoulder blade. It stayed, and so did the silence. No justice, no comfort, just pain and a mother who wouldn't look her in the eye. That was the first time Kelsey learned that in some homes, cruelty doesn't come from strangers. It lives down the hall. Just a tantrum. That's what her mother told the police, as if Kelsey's screams had been for attention, as if the raw burn blistering her back was nothing more than a mood swing. That lie, so casual, so dismissive, cut deeper than the iron ever had. And it worked. The officers smiled awkwardly. They didn't step inside. They didn't ask Kelsey anything. They just left her there. In that moment, Kelsey learned something no 12-year-old should ever have to learn. Pain doesn't matter if no one wants to see it. The scar on her back began to heal, but inside, something else began to rot. Trust, hope, safety. That night, Olivia ate dessert in the kitchen like nothing happened. Her parents laughed at a sitcom rerun. Kelsey sat in her room, curled under the covers, shaking half from pain, half from confusion. Was she overreacting? Was it really her fault for touching the lipstick? Her mother hadn't even looked at the burn. "Stop making things dramatic," Mom had said. "If you didn't provoke her, she wouldn't get angry." And just like that, it started. Not just the abuse, but the erasing. Every time Olivia struck her, Kelsey was told she had provoked it. Every time she cried, she was told she was too sensitive. Every time she spoke up, she was silenced. That first scar, it wasn't the worst. It was the first page in a long, brutal story, written in bruises, edited in silence, and footnoted by the people who were supposed to protect her. Olivia was perfect. At least that's what everyone said. Blue eyes like polished glass, a cheerleader's smile, report cards lined with A's, the kind of girl neighbors waved at, teachers praised, and church ladies hugged too long. "She's such a good influence on her sister," they'd whisper. "So mature for her age." But Kelsey knew better. Olivia wasn't a golden child. She was a storm in lip gloss. She lied so easily it sounded like truth. And when she hit hard. Once, when Kelsey was 14, Olivia threw a wooden chair at her out of nowhere. The leg of the chair cracked her front tooth. Blood smeared across her mouth. She stood in the kitchen shaking, tooth-chipped hands trembling. Her mom lit a cigarette and said, "Well, you do talk back a lot." No questions, no concern, just a flick of ash into the sink. Her father glanced over the top of his newspaper, then gave Olivia a little nod. Then he shook his head at Kelsey as if she were the disappointment. It happened again and again. Kelsey once reported a bruise at school. A teacher sent her to the counselor. But Olivia cried. "She's making it up," Olivia said, eyes wide with practiced innocence. "She's jealous. She always wants attention." And once again, the lie worked. The counselor gave Kelsey a warning. "It's serious to accuse your family like that." That day, Kelsey stopped speaking up, because in her house, the truth didn't matter. Only the packaging did. And Olivia, she came wrapped in ribbons. From the outside, Kelsey's house looked like a dream. A trimmed lawn, clean windows, seasonal wreaths on the door. Her mother hosted dinner parties with lace napkins and ceramic dishes. Her father barbecued on Sundays. Olivia smiled in family photos. People used to say, "You girls are so lucky. Your parents really have it all together." But inside, it was a kingdom, and Kelsey was the servant. Her mother didn't scream. She didn't beat anyone. No, her weapon was subtler. She controlled with tone, with looks, with silence. She could freeze a room with one raised eyebrow. And when Kelsey cried, she'd say, "If you want to cry, go do it somewhere no one has to look at your face." Her father, he never raised his voice. But he also never raised a hand to stop the damage. A nod to Olivia, a shrug at Kelsey, that was his language. He lived behind a newspaper and a glass of scotch. Then there was Olivia, the golden one, the queen. She ruled the house like it was built for her. Her room was larger, her rules stricter, but only for Kelsey. If she broke something, Kelsey was blamed. If she cursed at their mother, Kelsey was the one who got grounded for creating tension. The injustice was built into the walls, and every day Kelsey woke up in that house like a prisoner, a quiet inmate in a home with no visible bars, but 1,000 invisible chains. That never happened. "You're overreacting. You're too sensitive, Kelsey." Those were the phrases Kelsey heard most growing up. Not, "Are you okay?" Not, "Do you need help?" Just denial, dismissal, distortion. When Olivia shoved her down the stairs, Mom said, "You probably tripped. Watch your feet next time." When Kelsey told her mom that Olivia called her a freak in front of guests, she was joking, learned to take one. When she found her drawings torn up and thrown in the trash, maybe they weren't that good. Day by day, piece by piece, Kelsey's reality started to blur. Was she imagining it? Was she really the problem? Even pain wasn't enough proof. Once, Kelsey showed her mom a bruise the size of a lemon on her thigh. Olivia had kicked her under the table during dinner. Her mother glanced at it and said, "You bruise too easily. You always have. That's not her fault." So Kelsey stopped showing her bruises. And then she started questioning if they were even real. That's what gaslighting does. It doesn't just change what you believe about others, it rewrites what you believe about yourself. By the time she turned 16, Kelsey had lost trust in her own emotions. When Olivia mocked her in public, she smiled. When Olivia insulted her body, she laughed it off. When her mother said, "You're just not strong like your sister," Kelsey believed it. Because in a house like hers, it wasn't just pain that hurt, it was doubt. The kind that makes you question your worth. The kind that makes you apologize for bleeding. She was 19 when it finally snapped, and it all started over shampoo. Olivia had left her expenses bottle on the shower ledge. Kelsey rushed and, running late for class, used a single drop. That night, Olivia barged into the bathroom, her eyes wild, her voice low and venomous. "You touched my stuff again." "It was just shampoo," Kelsey whispered. Olivia didn't answer. She grabbed Kelsey by the back of the hair and slammed her face into the bathroom mirror. Glass cracked, blood spilled. A scream choked in Kelsey's throat. For a moment, the room stood still. The reflection staring back at her wasn't just broken glass. It was her life, fractured, bleeding, and finally, done. She stumbled out of the bathroom, hand pressed to her forehead, blood dripping between her fingers. She passed her mother in the hallway. "What now?" her mom sighed, not even turning. Kelsey didn't answer. She didn't cry. She went to her room, grabbed her backpack, threw in a charger, a hoodie, a photo of her grandmother, and walked out. No goodbye, no suitcase. Just blood on her shirt and fire in her chest. That was the night she stopped asking for safety and started fighting for freedom. She told herself it would just be 2 nights, nothing more, just a weekend. Her apartment complex was undergoing fumigation. The cheapest motel nearby was booked. She checked her bank balance. Not enough. Not for a hotel, not for an Uber out of town, not even for a decent meal. So she called home, the place she swore she'd never return to. Her mother answered. "I guess you finally need us again," Mom said. Kelsey bit her tongue. "Just 2 nights," she said. "I'll stay out of the way." "Fine, just don't start drama." That night, Kelsey stood at the doorstep. Same paint on the walls, same silence behind the door. She stepped in. The air smelled the same, like bleach and old lies. Olivia wasn't home yet. Kelsey moved like a ghost. She kept her voice soft. She said thank you for dinner. She offered to wash her own plate. She didn't touch the remote, didn't sit too long in the living room. She slept with one ear open. Every smile was forced. Every "I'm fine" was armor. She wasn't trying to reconnect. She was just trying to survive 48 hours without setting off a bomb. But in a house like that, even silence was explosive. The laundry room was quiet, just the hum of the iron. Kelsey stood alone, pressing the only decent work shirt she had. She focused on the rhythm. Down, steam, up, breathe. This was her peace, her corner of stillness. And then, the door slammed open. Olivia, unsteady feet, a wine cooler in one hand, lipstick smudged, her eyes sharp despite the alcohol. "Did I say you could touch my iron?" she slurred. Kelsey didn't turn around. "It's Mom's iron." "No, it's mine," Olivia snapped, "like everything else in this house." Kelsey pressed the collar flat. "I'm just finishing. I'll be out in a minute." Olivia took a step forward. "You always were a jealous little parasite." Kelsey froze. Parasite? That word echoed like thunder in her chest. She looked up. "Walk away, Olivia." Olivia smirked. "Wrong words." In one swift motion, she yanked the cord and slammed the iron against Kelsey's bare arm. "Hiss!" Kelsey screamed. The iron fell to the floor with a clatter, but the damage was already done. Her skin blistering, raw, scorched. She dropped to her knees. Olivia stood over her, smiling, victorious, like she had won something. And then, footsteps, fast, heavy. Their mother appeared in the doorway. What the hell happened? Olivia didn't miss a beat. "She attacked me," she said calmly, pointing at Kelsey. Kelsey clutched her arm, lips trembling. "I didn't." Her mother glanced between them. Her eyes narrowed. And then, "That's what trash gets for existing," she said. Cold, flat, final. Kelsey couldn't speak, couldn't breathe. Her own mother had watched her get burned and decided she deserved it. The burn was still hissing when Kelsey hit the floor. Her skin sizzled raw, blistered, screaming. But she didn't scream anymore. The pain had passed, screaming. Olivia stood above her smug, like she'd just won a game. Kelsey clutched her arm, gasping through clenched teeth. And then, footsteps. Heavy, sharp. Their mother appeared in the doorway, arms crossed. Her eyes scanned the room. Iron on the floor. Steam still rising, her daughter shaking, burned, on her knees, and Olivia looking innocent. "What the hell happened?" she asked flatly. Olivia didn't hesitate. "She attacked me," she said, completely calm. "I had to defend myself." "I didn't," Kelsey whispered, her voice barely air. Her mother turned, looked her dead in the eye, and said, "That's what trash gets for existing." The room spun, not from the burn, from that sentence. Her mother hadn't asked what happened. She hadn't asked if Kelsey was okay. She had looked at her own daughter scorched, shaking, and declared her worthless. In that instant, something inside Kelsey didn't break. It calcified. It turned to stone. Not weakness, not fear, but clarity. She stood, slow, steady. "I'll be gone in 5 minutes," she said. "But this time, I'm not running." "Oh, please," her mother scoffed. "You think you scare us?" Kelsey didn't raise her voice. She didn't cry. She looked her dead in the eye and said, "No, but you'll learn soon enough. Even parasites can leave you hollow." She didn't go to the hospital. She didn't call the police. She didn't scream. She didn't even cry. Kelsey walked out of the house with a sweatshirt tied around her arm, hiding the burn. Her mother didn't stop her. Olivia didn't follow. No one cared that she was limping. No one asked where she was going. She took the long way to the pharmacy. Her shoes rubbed blisters into her heels. Her pulse thudded in her ears. But her face, stone. Inside the pharmacy, she avoided eye contact, bought a bottle of burn ointment, a roll of gauze, paid in cash, walked to the public restroom, and locked the door. Her arm was blistered, angry red and raw. She washed it gently with cold water. Didn't flinch, didn't curse, just stared at it, like she was memorizing the pain. And maybe she was, because Kelsey no longer needed justice. She needed resolve. She didn't bandage it like a victim. She wrapped it like a soldier. Then she looked in the mirror, not at the wound, but at her own eyes, and whispered, "I'm not running anymore. I'm remembering." That night, she didn't go back to her apartment. She went to Rachel's, the one friend who had seen too much to ever question her again. Kelsey didn't knock. Rachel opened the door and gasped, "Jesus, Kelsey, what happened?" Kelsey didn't say nothing. She didn't say, "I'm fine." She said, "I need your help." Not to fix it, to flip it. Rachel didn't flinch when she saw the burn. She didn't ask if Kelsey was exaggerating. She didn't say, "Are you sure it was Olivia?" She just opened the door wider. "Come in," she whispered. "Sit down." Kelsey sat at the kitchen table, arm still bandaged, fingers trembling slightly. For a moment, neither of them said anything. Then Rachel pulled a mug of tea toward her. "You're not staying quiet anymore, are you?" Kelsey looked up. "No," she said, "not this time." And that's where it started. Not with screaming, not with revenge fantasies, but with a laptop, a cup of tea, and 2 women beginning to build a case. Rachel remembered things Kelsey had long buried. Didn't Olivia once send you a voicemail bragging she slapped the loser straight? Yeah, Kelsey nodded. 2019. They found it, still saved. Then came the screenshots Olivia's texts. "One more word and I'll make you regret being born." Her mother's group chat message, "Kelsey bruises like a peach. It's too easy." And the photos. So many photos. Bruises, bite marks, fingernail scrapes. All time-stamped, all real. Evidence the world had never seen. "You kept all of this?" Rachel asked. Kelsey nodded. "I didn't think I'd ever use it," she said, "but I couldn't delete it." "Because if I did, then maybe it really never happened." Rachel reached across the table and squeezed her hand. "Then let's make sure the world knows it did." Olivia had built a world on image. Beautiful, polished, curated. She worked at a prestigious PR firm downtown, sleek office, Instagram-perfect workspace, high-profile clients. The irony? Her job was to protect reputations. And that was exactly where Kelsey planned to strike. "We make monsters look like angels," Olivia once bragged in a group chat. Kelsey still had the screenshot. So she created a fake identity, a new name, a burner phone, a professional-looking email. She drafted a client request, said she was launching a brand, and wanted someone bold, confident, image-obsessed to manage her public profile. She requested Olivia specifically, said she'd followed her work for years. The meeting was approved. Wednesday, 10 a.m. At a neutral cafe in the business district. Rachel came too, sitting at the far table ready to record. Kelsey wore a wig, glasses, a conservative blazer. Olivia walked in, heels clicking, phone in hand. She didn't recognize her, not right away. They talked briefly. Kelsey kept it professional, polite. Then she slid a thick envelope across the table. "What's this?" Olivia asked. Kelsey smiled. "Proof of who you are when the cameras aren't rolling." Olivia laughed, light, casual. Then she opened it. Photos, screenshots, voice recordings, a timeline of abuse, manipulation, cruelty. Her jaw tightened. Her eyes darted. "I don't know who you think you are. I'm the girl you burned," Kelsey said quietly, "and I'm just returning the heat." Olivia stood suddenly, reaching across the table. But before she could touch Kelsey, Rachel pressed a button. The entire exchange had been recorded. Kelsey stood, calm. "You wanted control, Olivia. Now I have it." She turned and walked out. No fear, no hesitation, just fire in her steps. The cafe smelled of espresso and quiet desperation. Kelsey had arrived 15 minutes early. She sat by the window, light flooding the table, hands folded over a leather folder. Rachel sat 2 tables away, phone angled just right. Across the room, no one suspected a storm was about to detonate. Olivia arrived exactly on time. Designer coat, perfect hair. A confidence that only came from a life spent getting away with everything. She didn't recognize Kelsey. Not behind the glasses, not with the straightened hair, not when her little sister now radiated something Olivia never had control. "Miss Langford?" Olivia asked, smiling that polished PR smile. "Yes," Kelsey replied, gesturing to the seat across. "Thanks for meeting." They talked business. Kelsey let her speak, nodding along. Calm, cold, until the moment came. She slid the folder forward. Olivia blinked. "What's this?" "Everything," Kelsey said. "Every bruise, every threat, every lie." Olivia laughed soft, amused. But the laugh cracked when she opened the folder. A dozen photos, screenshots of chats, emails laced with contempt, audio transcripts, medical records. Her eyes widened. "Who are you?" she whispered. Kelsey leaned in. "I'm the girl you burned, the one you called trash, the one no one believed." She smiled, just a flicker. "But you believed in your own power so much, you never realized someone was watching." Olivia's hand trembled. Rachel's phone caught everything. Olivia's hands shook as she shoved the folder back across the table. "This is illegal. You can't." Kelsey didn't flinch. "Oh, but I can, and I already did." Olivia's eyes darted to the phone on the table, Rachel's camera. Her voice cracked. "You planned this." "No," Kelsey whispered. "I survived this." Olivia grabbed her purse, stormed out, heels clicking like panic against marble floors. That night, the footage hit the inboxes of 2 senior partners, Olivia's board, and one very curious journalist. 9:04 a.m. the next morning, internal investigation launched. 9:47 a.m., her company laptop locked her out. 11:02 a.m., HR requested an immediate in-person meeting. 12:16 p.m., security walked her out the door. 2:35 p.m., public statement issued. "We have become aware of disturbing allegations against our employee Olivia M. These allegations violate our core values. Miss M is no longer affiliated with our firm. Olivia's Instagram went dark. Her name disappeared from the company's leadership page. Clients started calling. Some canceled. Others demanded answers. By sunset, Olivia was not just fired, she was radioactive. The girl she once branded as nothing just made her invisible." The ballroom shimmered with gold and soft violins. A night of tuxedos, champagne-staged smiles, and lies. Kelsey stood in the shadows near the AV booth. Her palms were cold, but her heart steel. On stage, her mother stood beneath the warm spotlight. The host's voice echoed, "And this year's Mother of the Year award goes to Margaret Mallory." Applause thundered. Cameras flashed. Kelsey's mother stepped forward radiant in a pearl gown, waving like royalty. But just as she opened her mouth to give her speech, the screen behind her flickered. And then a photo. Kelsey's burned arm, fresh, red, raw. Gasps rippled through the audience. Then another photo, her bruised cheek, her bleeding lip. A third photo, a long scar stretching under a shoulder blade. Then the audio began, her mother's voice, cold, unfiltered. That girl was a mistake since birth. If you ask me, she should have never been born. She's nothing, always was. Silence fell like a bomb. Margaret stood frozen. Then someone booed. Another gasped, "Oh my God!" The host didn't know where to look. A woman in the front row covered her mouth, whispering to her husband. The award slipped from Margaret's hands. It hit the stage with a sharp, ringing clang. And in that moment, all the pearls, all the praises, all the pretending shattered. Kelsey turned and walked away. No mic drop, just truth. They filed the lawsuit fast. Defamation, it read. Margaret and Olivia, side by side for the first time in months, demanded $2 million in damages. "She humiliated us," Olivia said on the news. "My career's gone." "It's all lies," Margaret added. "That girl is sick." Social media exploded. Some said Kelsey had gone too far. Others called it justice. But Kelsey didn't respond online. She prepared. The day of the hearing, the courtroom buzzed with reporters, lawyers, and whispers. Kelsey entered calm in a navy blue blazer, holding a simple folder. Olivia smirked from across the room, but Kelsey didn't look at her. She placed the folder on the table. The judge opened it. Inside, certified medical records, time-stamped photographs, audio files transcribed and notarized, a signed witness statement from Rachel. The judge looked at the plaintiffs. "You're claiming damage to your reputation," she said slowly, "but everything she published is provably true." Olivia's mouth fell open. Margaret turned pale. The lawyer leaned in, whispering frantically. The case was dismissed. Kelsey didn't celebrate. She simply stood, nodded to the court, and walked out stronger than ever. The courtroom fell silent. One final file was submitted, a message from Olivia just weeks before the gala. "Say one more word and I'll make you regret ever being born." The judge read it aloud. Her eyes moved to Kelsey, then to Olivia and Margaret. "This lawsuit is baseless," she declared. "Plaintiff's case is dismissed with prejudice." Gasps. Olivia froze. Margaret stared into the floor. Kelsey didn't smile, but a tear rolled down. Not of pain, of justice. The call came late. Olivia's name flashed on the screen. Kelsey stared at it. She didn't feel anger. She didn't feel fear. She picked up. "Please," Olivia said, her voice cracked and distant. "I have nothing left. Everyone turned their back on me. I didn't mean for it to get this bad." Silence. Then Kelsey spoke calm and steady. "You didn't lose everything, Olivia. You lost everyone. I don't hate you anymore. I don't even think about you. I've healed. And I'm not calling back." She hung up gently without drama. No screaming, no revenge. Just peace. And on the other end of the line, Olivia heard for the first time what real power sounds like. The world didn't change overnight, but Kelsey did. And then she changed the world, one survivor at a time. She founded Burn Back, a nonprofit built on one simple promise: we believe you even if they don't. It wasn't about revenge, it was about truth and healing. Burn Back gave shelter, legal support, therapy access, and a hotline for those who, like Kelsey, were hurt behind doors that looked respectable. She gave them something she never had, a hand held out, instead of pushed away. When asked why she named it Burn Back, she said, "Because I was burned, but I didn't burn out. I came back, and now so will they." And they did. One girl, one boy, one broken heart at a time. Not just surviving, becoming fireproof. The video of the gala, Olivia's face crumbling, their mother frozen mid-speech, hit 10 million views in a week. But it wasn't the scandal people shared. It was Kelsey's silence, her strength, her final words, "I didn't fight to destroy them. I fought to free myself." Emails started pouring in, from strangers, from neighbors, from grown women who whispered, "Your mom reminds me of mine." From men who said, "I used to work with Olivia. I always knew something was off." From survivors who wrote, "I thought I was crazy until I saw you." Her story had gone viral, but more importantly, it had gone personal. In the corners of living rooms, behind locked bathroom doors, in group chats and silent tears, people were breaking their own silence, and every time they did, burn back grew, not because it was loud, but because it was real, and because Kelsey had proven one truth: what nearly killed you can one day save someone else. She saw it the moment the girl walked in, 12 years old, burned on the arm, the same twitch in the fingers. The same way she kept her eyes on the floor, like looking up was dangerous. Kelsey didn't ask. She didn't need to. Instead, she sat beside the girl at the burnback community table and gently unwrapped a roll of gauze. "Does it still hurt?" The girl nodded. "It will," Kelsey said, "but someday you'll touch that scar and realize it doesn't burn anymore." A pause. Then the girl whispered, "How do you know?" Kelsey smiled, lifted her sleeve, and showed the faint, lightning-shaped scar on her own back. "Because they tried to burn me alive, too." She leaned in and added, "But I didn't just survive. I became fireproof, and you will too." In that moment, Kelsey wasn't just a survivor. She was a mentor, a movement, a message written in flesh and flame. You are not what they did to you. You are what you rise into. And Kelsey, she rose into a voice that will never be silenced again. Sometimes the deepest wounds aren't physical. They're carved in places meant to be safe home. But from that very place, if we dare to face the pain and choose not to pass it forward, we don't just heal. We become the shelter we once prayed for. Truth can be twisted, but courage burns brighter than any scar. If you've ever felt unheard, unseen, or unsure of your worth, let this be your reminder. You're not alone. Subscribe to Pieces of Soul to join a space where real stories matter, healing is possible, and you are never too broken to rise. Tap the so you never miss a story that could change your life or someone else's.